Welcome back to The Explainer. It is awesome to have you with us again. So, this is part 2 of our deep dive into importing your personal car to the Canary Islands, specifically getting it in tax-free as a household good. Just a quick recap. In part 1, we looked at the hurdles you can face during customs clearance, even if your prep is absolutely top tier. We covered the super strict requirements you genuinely have to meet, and what options are out there for getting a helping hand. Well, right here in this second and final part, we're picking up exactly where we left off. Today, I'm going to show you what concrete types of support actually exist down there, how to tell them apart, what the whole shebang might cost, and most importantly, how to actually find this help. Because man, do you know that feeling? You're super prepared. You've hacked your way through the absolute jungle of regulations. Your folders are literally bursting with documents, and theoretically, you know exactly how to get that car to the islands without paying extra tax. But theory and practice, totally different ballgames. Knowing what to do doesn't mean you'll automatically find the right local expert to execute it legally. And let me tell you, that gap between I get it and it's done can seriously test your very last nerve.
So today's roadmap lays out exactly how we're going to bridge that gap. We'll quickly cover who can actually help, how to search using the right terms, 5 absolute must-ask questions, the major red flags to watch out for, and finally, whether paying for all this is actually worth it. Let's get into it.
Section 1. Who can actually help? Time to identify your bureaucratic ally.
When you're out there looking for help, you're going to run into the absolute final boss of bureaucracy, the customs agent, or, as they say in Spanish, the agente de aduanas. If you need someone who handles the really hardcore technical registration right inside the official customs system, and, crucially, who legally takes on the liability for it, then this is your gold standard. A customs agent speaks fluent, bureaucratic Spanish, and, they know all those cryptic codes for the H-1 tax exemption in their sleep. Now, in stark contrast to that, you've got the gestoria. This is basically your typical Spanish administrative office. Don't get me wrong, they are fantastic for everyday paperwork. We're talking vehicle registration, getting your tax numbers, stuff like that. But here's the catch. A gestoria usually does not have direct access to do the highly technical customs clearance themselves. Unless they happen to have an in-house customs agent, which is pretty rare, they're mostly just acting as a middleman.
So the really crucial point to remember here is this. There are a bunch of other players out there too, like freight forwarders selling full packages or independent consultants. But please, keep this in mind. Not everyone who shouts, "Hey, I help with car imports" on the internet actually handles the legally binding customs declaration. You have to look incredibly closely at what exact service you're buying so you don't get hit with any nasty surprises later.
Moving on to Section 2, searching with the right terms. These are basically your secret codes for finding local experts.
Look, if you just hammer broad terms into Google, something like car, Canary Islands, help, you are going to end up in total chaos. You'll probably land on some outdated forum post from like 2012, or you'll find rules that only apply to the Spanish mainland. And trust me, a completely different tax wind blows over there. But if you use hyper-specific Spanish strings, something like agente de aduanas Tenerife vehículo cambio residencia, boom, you hit the bullseye. It acts like a secret code that cuts through the noise and leads you straight to the genuine local experts.
The real trick here is to logically combine 3 specific search clusters. Step 1. Start with the base profession, so agente de aduanas Canarias vehículo. Step 2, and this is absolutely critical, you have to combine that with the specific term for household goods, which is cambio residencia or menaje de casa. A household good import is a totally different beast than a regular commercial import, so you need those exact keywords. And step 3, literally never forget to add your specific local island's name. An agent on Gran Canaria is going to be absolutely zero help to you if your car is rolling off a ship in La Palma, right?
All right, Section 3, 5 crucial questions to ask. Let's talk about vetting your potential agent.
You're going to want to use these 5 specific questions to immediately separate the wheat from the chaff. Question 1 sets the baseline right away. Do you handle the actual customs declaration yourself? Are they just, an expensive mailbox forwarding your emails, or do they actually log into the customs system? Question 2. Do you have specific experience with H-1 imports? A tax-free import has remarkably strict rules around deadlines and holding periods. A regular agency that mostly deals with commercial shipping containers, they usually don't have those fine details on their radar at all. Questions 3, 4, and 5 are essentially there to protect your peace of mind.
When you hit them with question 3 about documents, a true professional isn't going to hesitate. They'll fire back a crystal clear list immediately. Your deregistration certificate, your historical registration, your vehicle registration, bam, bam, bam.
On top of that, they'll transparently answer question 4 by laying out any potential extra harbor fees or document outlays right up front. And for question 5, they'll set really clear expectations on communication. You need to know if they're going to reply in 24 hours or if you'll be chasing them around for days. Getting those clear expectations early totally prevents frustration down the line.
Let's jump to Section 4, Warning Signs and Red Flags. Here's how to spot the scams and incompetent agencies.
You really need to watch out for these red flags. Literally run away if an agency promises you the moon with some flat-rate deal right over the phone without ever casting a single glance at your documents. No way. A serious, professional customs agent knows that your precious H-1 tax-free status depends entirely, and I mean entirely, on the airtight quality of your paperwork. They would never make a binding promise before meticulously scrutinizing your residence confirmations and your registration history. Unclear pricing structures, or maybe they start dodging the question when you ask, who is ultimately legally liable? Those are absolute deal breakers. Just walk away.
And finally, Section 5. Is paid help worth it? Let's weigh the massive financial risks.
Let's just take a second to think about what's actually at stake here. If you try to cowboy this whole import completely on your own, and you miss a deadline by literally a single day, or you make one silly little form error, bam, your household goods status is gone. The consequence? You immediately have to pay the full Canary Island import tax, the IGIC, plus the vehicle registration tax. That can easily escalate into thousands of euros incredibly fast. When you weigh that massive financial risk against the very manageable fee of a professional customs agent, the math overwhelmingly favors just getting the expert help. And hey, remember, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. If you're super organized, you can simply pay an expert a smaller fee just to do a structural pre-check of your files before you submit them yourself. It's a great way to prevent a total disaster.
There's a phrase that perfectly captures this whole import journey. The best support isn't the cheapest, but the one that prevents surprises. Quality simply has its price, but incompetence? That will ultimately cost you a multiple of that price. It is far better to invest in an expert who truly knows what they're doing, saving both your wallet and your nerves in the long run.
So, equipped with this complete toolkit from the absolute perfect search queries to your new built-in lie detector for service providers, your dream car can absolutely arrive without turning into a customs nightmare. You just have to ask yourself, are you going to risk a massive tax bill and endless frustration, or will you let the local pros handle the stress? The choice is entirely yours. Thank you so much for hanging out with me to master this topic, and I will see you on the next explainer.